Good morning, everybody. Morning, my time. We don't have a lot of time today. That's my fault. We were supposed to start at 8 and we got to push back, but it's all good. I think um, you still get the information that you need, and also information that you don't need, or you know how that goes. If you don't know who we are, we're Women in Linux. I am Tameika D's in the back. I am um, gonna probably stay on about, I know, probably mm, about an hour. I know it's rare for us to do an hour. Um, that's not something that we do around here, but that's what we're gonna do today. In an hour. Um, just a rare thing for us. Shout out to John. I see you in the comments. Tech Girl Christian, what's going on? You got your popcorn, you got your tea, you got everything lined up, queued up. Hold on, I gotta get my tablet ready, so it's gonna probably be loud here, so I could see what's going on in the chat as well. So I can see. There we go. But yes, down to earth, what's going on? Give everybody a little bit more time to get in. How's everybody week? How's everybody doing? D, how was your week? How was your day? How was your night? How's everybody? We got a lot of stuff. We're not gonna get through everything today. There's no way. But we're gonna do our best to get through what we can and go from there. I think y'all will be pleasantly surprised. Um, pull up some stuff. I did the intro yet, but let me just get my little stuff ready. And then we're gonna get kind of dive into it real quick. Um, just wanna see, is this it? No, this one's the one I want right here. So we're gonna go right there. Boom,
different
boom.
types.
Got him ready. Cool. What's going on, Donna? I saw you over on Erica Williams last night and Tech Girl Christian. I saw y'all both last night. Um, so first thing first. So I scour the YouTube streets all day, every day. Different topics, IRS, whatever, whatever, whatever. I scour, right? And I love these topics that come up. Like, what would you do? Like, it's almost like, what would you do for a Klondike bar, right? Makes me laugh. But anyway, long story short, right? We all saw and I covered her before, the young lady that makes $600,000 on Wall Street, and people are asking, like, the question comes up, what would you do if you had a woman like that, right? So now the question becomes, for me, is what would you do if you had that kind of money? And we talked about it before. Um, and you needed to invest that money, right? So we talked about that. So again, I hear these talking points out here. They make me laugh, because because some people be in the comments and they be like, "Have you ever dated a woman that made 500,000? Have you ever done that?" But nevertheless, I won't belabor these points because I could go on. I might make somebody mad. Nah, do I want to make people mad this morning? Do I want to choose fighting this morning? I don't know. I ain't decided yet. Let me ponder on that for a minute. While I ponder, let's get into the intro. Like I said, we're Women in Linux Steeds in the back. If you want to connect with us, you can hit connect on our website, and then drop in your email address. You would need the Slack app. That's how you find us. After this, Donald, like, be violent, make a mad town. See, I feel like that's the setup when y'all say that, make them mad. I feel like that's it's a setup. Anyway, look, you join us in Slack. You can find us on social media across all social media at Women in Linux. And if you would like to donate, you can donate with your time. It's not all about just the money. Um, Money comes in the long run. I get more benefit than for having the platform and for you being involved in the platform, right? People are watching, right? People are watching. People are looking. I just want to be clear. And also, if you don't want to donate with your time because you feel like you're above the crowd and this ain't it for you, and you want to be a silent investor, or you choose violence. If you choose violence this morning, go ahead and donate. So hit the donate button, click the donate, and it will take you to this page where you can donate. If you would like to fight in private or whatnot, you can always catch us on Calendly, where we can actually fight in private, right? So private with women in Linux and a private fight with women in Linux would be probably your best thing if you don't want to be on public channels or whatnot. If you choose violence, we need to put on here. I chose violence, but we do one-on-one interview prep, resume review, and career assessment. Right, we do all that. Right, and newly, freshly added is fight. Like if you just want to fight, I got time. I always got time. All right. And if you choose not to fight there, you can fight here too. I have time as well too. We can bring you up. No problem. I don't have any problems with that. Um, Very comfortable in who I am and in my skin. You may not be, and that may come out on the screen. So I don't know if you want to do that here. All right. So the last but not least, the other thing is we also have 30% off if you went to IT Pro TV and want to get some more training outside of Women in Linux, um, you may go ahead and join IT Pro TV. Get 30% off. Use the promo code Women in Linux, and that'll get you some skills and stuff. And they had some free training this week. I posted it in Slack for everybody and so forth to check out. So why did I say about fighting? All right, so just various streams I've seen, various comments that I've seen, various just interactions that I've seen, and it's not just on it's not just YouTube. It's in general conversations that I've had with different people, different men, different women, right? It's for me. I belabor this point often. I say this all the time. Look, I showed you last week the guy who was making $1.75 million in a job that he just started in February. And he's an H-1B visa. Right now, we're at the point now where we're starting to, everybody's like always talking about these tech job layoffs, right? And everybody's like, oh, they're laying off in tech, and you need to be wary of what they're doing, so forth and so on, right? And then I don't know who all paid attention to the Slack post yesterday, and I'm gonna go a little deeper into this on the second show. I don't have time to do a deep dive on this show for it. I'm just gonna mention it, and then I'll do a deeper dive on the second show where you have. Let me bring this over to here so we can see it. You have this share screen D, where you have this 39-year-old black man who was awarded a $13.4 billion defense contract, right? And I tell you all the time that your Linux skills and being the ability to get a clearance it's probably going to be your bread and butter, right? But also, if you don't want to work for the government and you want to get your clearance and then leave, you can do that and then come back. And I talked about it this week in the Discord with Anton Daniels' crew, and I've said this to you all before. It's nothing hidden about my what I'm saying. Lifetime set of skills, right? You need to be focused on your lifetime set of skills. And when I say that, I've had the pleasure of being understanding Linux and doing Linux administration and so forth for um, 20 years now, right? So when I look at what the next landscape is going to look like, this contract, right? And like I said, I'll go into this little more later. But I'm just gonna pull this up because I've taught and I know for a fact I've shown this 1,000 times. Um, Look at who it's with. It's with the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Space Force. All right. So I showed a video a while back where U.S. Air Force has $165 billion for working on this space contract. That's just a small number. That's not the whole number. That's just part of it. And the Space Force has 65 billion. And I said to you all, everything that's on those contracts. I showed you the stuff on platform one. I showed you the stuff of how they're awarding contracts, mini contracts, those people who got to work with them and so forth. I showed y'all all of that. And people will still argue with, like, what is it that I need to do? Some people will fight me and say, well, I'm not going to go, I'm not learning Linux. I'm going to go over here and learn cloud. Again, I don't care. Four fundamentals. Pick one, excel in one, but you need all four of them, right? And those skills are going to be with you forever. They're not going to strip the cloud out. Cloud is going to be there. Cloud is going to run on Linux. It's going to run on KVM until somebody comes out with a new hypervisor. Those are the facts right now. We're going to have Kubernetes around for a very long time. Those are facts right now. Security of the container, of the cluster, and so forth, those are going to be around forever. These projects that this defense contract that he won, those are just some of the tools or some of the concepts that you need to know on working with that, right? And so when we sit up here and we talk about inflation and we talk about these increases, and I'm getting ready to show some stuff too. We have to be mindful of what can we do now that's gonna last us a lifetime, at least a foundational, at least the fundamentals, and then you keep adding on to those skill sets. So if you don't know what skills you have now, and you have no idea what it's gonna look like in the future, you're gonna get stuck. I'm not gonna say you're gonna get left behind. You're just gonna be stuck, right? You're gonna be stuck in a situation where, and we're already there. People don't care to admit it. People will argue with this. We're already there where $100,000 doesn't go far. Oh, and I even showed you where people are check to check on $250,000. So when people want to argue about you know uh, this money or skills or whatnot, it makes absolutely no sense to me. And what do you do when you're and I've heard this I was part of this conversation this week, and I'll entertain this morning. Um, let's say that you're out on a date, because I heard this crap too. I call this one, this was cap to me. Where you're out on a date and someone says, "Hey, your first three, what's going on, Randy? Your first 3 days, they're like, hey, what's your 401k?" And this happens in the DMV area. People ask you, what do you do for a living? What's your 401k? How much you pull in? What's this? What's that? That happens. Like, Like, and don't tell me it don't happen, because it has happened. It happened to me. It happened to D. I mean, just shit happens. All right. And you don't even really know the person. So that may be on day one, day two. So again, when we're talking about these points, I'm just saying, um, if you walked into a situation, man or a woman, right? Man or woman, and that person says, hey, you ask these questions, like, what do you do for a living? How much you got in your 401k, this, that, none of these questions come up, right? And the person said, well, I have an estate that's 40 million, right? So I'm okay, this, that, and the other, right? You can't tell me, man or woman, that you're not gonna raise an eyebrow and be like, interesting, right? What I hear in these streets, what I hear in these streets is, if a woman has 40 million in an estate and she brings it to the table, it is then our money. Now, y'all can tell me if that's true or not in the chat. Remember, y'all ain't married yet. Y'all just dating. Is and I guess as you get married, it becomes our money. So I just want to know, man or woman, who out here getting married, and you got 40 million in an estate, and are you sharing? I just want to know, because my thought process is, if it's sitting in an estate, it's already protected or should be protected. My other thought process is, if it's sitting in an estate and we get together, we're gonna build something new that was something I previously did, and go from there. I just want to know. You old fashioned. I just want to know, because I mean, let the young ladies know, because here's where I'm going with this. As people increase their skill sets in tech, right? And the young lady who's doing the trading, she making 600,000. She making 600,000. She's not the only lady out here that's making 600,000 or a million. She's not the first lady out here that's making over 200,000, right? We're gonna put 200,000 as the minimum. What are you talking about, right? So this is why I mentioned estate planning. So you can't say, walking into a relationship or something like that, somebody gonna take half. What the hell are y'all doing? Well, you not protecting your own money. What's going on, Tommy? I hope you feeling better. I hope you feeling better. Donald, you right. That's money. Engineering came say, no, it's her money. You hustle yours. I don't know. Maybe I'm too selfish, right? If it's the other way around, will it be his money? Yes, it is his money. You put that into you put that into a state. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I said this before. If you got $40 million and you're a man and you don't have that set up in an estate or a trust, you're just dumb. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It may hurt your feelings, so be it. There's no freaking way that you should not be protecting your own money. Like, they don't even make sense to me. And the reason, one of the number one reasons why, if you follow any of the financial advisors or planners out there, if you're following them, they're going to tell you that your stuff should be set up into some type of estate planning. All right, it just don't make no sense. Like, you keep all your money. I don't, keep your 40 million. And I'm cool with that. Put that in an estate. Put that in an estate. Because I know, if I'm walking into with 40 million and we getting married, I'm making sure it's set up properly. Now, when we go out and buy some property together, that's totally different. But I get it. Everybody don't think that way. Everybody don't like it. Like I said, I know it's gonna probably make some people mad, right? I know it's gonna make some people mad. But actually fundamentally and sit there and think to yourself, if you had $40 million, would you just have $40 million just sitting there in a bank account and assets? You wouldn't do nothing. You wouldn't do nothing to protect yourself. And I'm not even talking about from a dating aspect. I'm just simply talking about from a aspect of I don't know why that went there. I'm just simply talking about from an aspect of just protecting yourself from taxes. Like that's really, like, skip me, like bump the chick or bump the guy. Uncle Sam is gonna be all up in your booty crack. I'm just saying. Shit. Uncle Sam gonna be like, I see you. Right? Like, come on now. I believe it's the woman's upon being married. Nothing should be hidden from a spouse. If something were to happen to you, it needs to be allocated to someone. So why not your spouse? It could be. It could be. You could have 40 million, right? And this is what cracked me up right about this conversation. If I got 40 million and I got a whole family, like I came out of my mama and my daddy, right? I have a whole family before I even meet this person, and I got 40 million. Why wouldn't I want to take care of my own family, right? Why wouldn't I want to allocate money for my own family so my own family can thrive? Yes, I have a husband, but what me and him have and what me and him build, I can cipher off 10 million of that and be like, look, this 10 million in the pot. I got other stuff allocated for my family. I have stuff already allocated for emergency, this, that, and other. You have your name on X, Y, and Z. Why do I need to allocate my whole 40 million to my spouse? He can't be good with 10 million. We not good with 10 million to start. Hey, something happened. I got stuff set up and asset and protections and stuff like that. Like that's just my thought. Call me selfish. Call me selfish. That's fine. But if I walk into a relationship and I got 40 million and he ain't got his first million, and I'm ciphering off 10 of mine, ciao bye. Ciao bye. Ciao bye. Like I said, it's gonna piss some people off. Some people gonna find it selfish. And me personally, I wouldn't expect that man to have to cipher off his 40 million solely to me, right? And the other part of this is that we have to be mindful of is he has his own family when it comes in. So the reason why I also bring this up is because when we're talking about building wealth and wealth preservation, how do you have 40 million and leave all of it to your spouse, and then your spouse takes that money and keeps it for their family and don't give your family nothing? You worked to get that 40 million, then they'll give your family nothing, right? You think that that person would, you hope the person has a heart, right? You hope that person, no, you don't hope nothing. You put stuff and protect, you put things in place. You put things in place so that doesn't happen, right? Um, what do you say? That man is trying to secure the bag. He's selfish. Good morning, Natasha. Facts, right? Hey, Savage Scientist, how you doing? Yes, right. Uncle Sam doesn't play. Uncle Sam hungrier than a woman fighting for child support from a broke man. If he broke, he ain't got no money. So we ain't gonna even we're not even finna get up with the child support. It's even before the prenup, Adele. It's estate planning. Like, it's estate planning, right? This is what we gotta really focus on. Like, as you all build, um, you hope that the person that you married to wouldn't screw over your the children that you have together. You hope. And I'm gonna give you a prime example because I've been listening to some of these conversations on Dave Ramsey, and oh my God, let me find my one. Let me give you a scenario that it ain't this ain't even a scenario. This is real life. So the mother and the father have a lot of money, and for whatever reasons, I don't know what happened with the kids, but the mother and the father are not leaving their kids nothing for their estate. It's called estate skipping. They're gonna eliminate the kids, which is, I think it's like three or four of them. They're not leaving them crap. And I think they had over like 10 million, and they leaving it all to the grandkids. And so the kids are like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. But here's the other side of this, right? Now, let's take that same scenario. Let's say the mother passes away. We're gonna give men some longevity today. I'm gonna be nice. And the mother passes away, and she leaves this 10 million to her husband. That husband is not obligated to give those kids nothing, because he is the executor of the estate. It has been transferred. He don't have to give them nothing. Now, he could take that money if she didn't plan anything properly. He could take that money and go marry somebody else and leave his kids without. Now, you think that he wouldn't do that, but it happens. People actually do that. People actually take that and run away with it. So when we talk about these scenarios, like it's ours, you need to be. I'm not saying be careful. I'm saying put things in place. So if you want to make sure your children, or that you have, that some, because let's really be real out here. Some parents don't like their children, right? And some parents don't like certain children. And if the mother or the father are doing estate planning, you need to make sure that if it's something that you want that child to have, or something that you want that family member to have, you need to put that in writing. Put that up. And this is why I really want to focus on having these estates, where y'all do estate planning, where you're talking about your inherited 401k and so forth and so on. So, with that being said, let's bring up my guy that I've been watching, so you know what type of trusts that are out there. It's 10 different type of trusts, so you know, for your own self, what you can do with those trusts. I don't want to be on here too long with him. It's only 17 minutes, but let me run down. Let me get the 10, 10 different types of trust, and then we'll go into his conversation. All right. All right. So I'm gonna run this down real quick. So 10 different types of trust. All right. Let's put D, you share screen. Um, bypass trust is one. I'm just gonna talk this out real quick. So bypass trust, commonly referred to as a credit shelter trust, family trust, shelter trust, family trust, or B trust. A bypass trust contains a portion of deceased spouse accounts and property, and uses the deceased spouse's lifetime exclusion amount to reduce or eliminate estate tax. Because this tax is calculated at the first spouse death, this trust is bypassed for the estate tax purposes at the second spouse's death. Charitable led trust, we've seen those. Charitable reminder trust, special needs trust. This one right here, generation skipping trust. A generation skipping trust allows you to distribute your money and the property to your grandchildren. So, hey, once you, as the woman or the man that passes on, and you leave that woman or that man executor of the state, and that mother or that father don't like them children, he can bypass, or she can bypass, and send it right on to the grandkids. You get nothing, right? Grantor remained annuity trust. A retained annuity trust is an irrevocable trust, who provides you with an annuity for specific amount of time based on the property in the trust and upon the completion of the annuity. The remaining money and the property is transferred to those you have named. This type of trust is used to make large financial gifts, and we talked about this with the crummy trust. Remember when we talked about with the crummy trust? This is why I'm telling you to go read the Secure Act 2.0. And what came out is was coming out of that. They're trying to block that crummy trust. They're also trying to raise the taxes on this as well too. So I just want to keep things in perspective here. Why I'm talking about this, right? You have a whole family, right? You have a family before you met this person. He has a family, or whatever the dynamic of your preference is. She had a family, or them, or they had a family, whatever pronoun you like to follow. And then you also have, on top of that, is the family that y'all create together if you choose to have children. But I also look at a man and woman together as a family. That's just my take on that. I look at a man and a woman being together as a family. People don't look at it like that. But if you and him are together, that's all, and y'all are rocking with, that's all we got, then that's what it is. All right. The next one is irrevocable life insurance trust. An irrevocable life insurance trust is designed to own high value life insurance and receive payment of death benefit upon the trust maker's death. So let's talk about this. Let's pause here for a second, right? I see a lot of y'all go out and get life insurance or whatnot, but you don't get enough life insurance. In fact, I was ready to cook today on some stuff. Let me see if I can find this in my notes. The love boat. I gotta look here. It doesn't come up in my thing. I'm gonna have to click on some of these links, but that's all good. It's all good, because the one that I wanted to bring up, it was an article that I had found, and in the article it stated that black people are most likely to have life insurance, but not enough life insurance to leave to have generational wealth. You're not buying enough life insurance, right? You might buy term life insurance, that's great, but you're not buying enough. You're only buying enough to bury yourself, or maybe enough to bury a child or something like that. You're not buying enough where you're creating wealth, right? So you need to be thinking about this as you buy life insurance. And I'm not talking about life insurance at your job, right? Stop only buying the life insurance at the job. That's nice, you get it, but once you leave, you don't have anything, right? Buy life insurance outside of the job. It's okay. You can have like more than one life insurance policy, right? You can have that, right? And when we start looking and talking about this, we need to start talking about uh again that three bucket strategy as well that I mentioned before, right? Tax deferred, after tax, and tax free, right? Those are the things that we need to be looking at, like, and where do these things fall into place? Sasha, is whatever your health rating and your pockets can afford. Whatever your health ratings and pockets can afford. There's so many different things. I am not going to say that I am a financial advisor or any of the names. This is just for educational purpose, but I will say this. I will say you need to be looking at things from a perspective of how can I make sure that the people that I'm leaving behind are okay, right? Do you really think $100,000 is enough, right? From, say, something happened to you right now, is $100,000 enough? For some people, they may say yes, that's enough to get them started. I ain't trying to make them rich. Some people say that, right? What about what's wrong with going after leaving a million? What's wrong with that? What's and what's wrong with leaving instructions? What's wrong with leaving instructions after you do that, right? Like something happened to you. And here's the other thing too. You make this money, where are you putting this money at? right? Where are you putting this money at? Again, we got to start thinking about wealth accumulation, excuse me, and then rolling into wealth preservation. What's going on? I saw somebody say something earlier that I missed. Oh yeah, good morning. Big I guess the big U is that a big TU. All right, 64, 62. Yep, Aaron Spelling, the late, yep, didn't lead Tori Spelling anything, nothing big. Her mom, Candy Spelling, gives Tori a small, tiny allowance. Exactly, exactly. Like she wasn't even in there. Said her dad did that because Tori divorced her husband and started an affair with her current husband. Aaron Spelling was smart. Oh shit. Well, he could have put it in. He still could have put it in an estate, a little pocket of money, and be like, look, get rid of that mofo. I ain't rocking with that shit, or you don't get no money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because now I don't know the question is, what is set up after your mom passes away? Is she gonna leave anything to you? Are you the next heir to the trust? What does that look like? Right? Is she? Right? And another one is a marital trust. A marital trust is designed to protect the accounts and property for the surviving spouse's benefit, as well as qualify for unlimited marital deduction. These accounts and pieces of property are excluded from estate tax at the first spouse's death, but are included in his or her estate for tax purposes. Qualified terminable interest property trust. It says this trust initially provides income to the surviving spouse, and upon the surviving spouse death, the money and the property are distributed to other named beneficiaries while still allowing the trust to qualify for a limited marital deduction. Boy, I could tell y'all something about this right here. D know this story. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it as nice as possible. Let's say it that way. So, long story short, met someone recently. Won't say where I met that person at. Anyway, this person said, "Hey, you know, my mom just went through a divorce. They were married for 38 years, which I didn't know you could do this." But in the worlds of Catholic, if you've been married for 38 years, you can still go get an annulment. The dad went and got an annulment. The mom had been left money and property from her mom and her dad. And we're talking thousands and thousands of acres, so we're talking in the millions here. And long story short, the dad had already been cheating on the mom and was already siphoning off money from the mom's trust because she trusted him. They've been together for 38 years. He had access to the trust, right? And had been siphoning off and set up another woman. They all live in the same town. And when they got an annulment after 38 years, he took millions and had a girlfriend as well. And on top of all of that, he also, out of the three kids that he had, he was like, yo, them ain't mine. Them kids ain't mine. So he don't even claim them. So these are real life situations that actually happen. I just want to put that out there. Like when y'all talking about, oh yeah, it's ours and stuff like that, that may not be what he thinking. And that may not be what she thinking. Money changes people. Money changes people, right? Money changes people. And these kids are in their 30s and 40s, and he's like, they ain't mine. And we getting an annulment. Oh, and by the way, I'm taking millions out of your trust. Oh, and by the way, the new chick that I rock with, she just had a baby, and I gave her your millions, and we all live in the same town. So I'm just putting that out there. All right, testamentary trust. A testamentary trust is a trust created in a will. This type of trust is created upon the individual's death and is commonly used to protect the money and the property on behalf of the beneficiary, as opposed to transferring the money and property to the beneficiary outright. It can be used when a beneficiary is too young to manage their own money or property, has medical or drug issues, or may be incapable of responsibly managing their own money. This trust can provide asset protection from lawsuits, a claim by a divorcing spouse brought against the beneficiary, unlike a revocable living trust or an irrevocable trust, where property should be transferred into a trust during the trust maker's lifetime to work property and avoid probate. Testamentary trusts require that sometimes lengthy and expensive probate process before the trust is created. There are many types of trust available. We will help you, blah, 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 blah. All right, so I pulled up my guy, and he talks about the different 10 types of trust here. Um, and he says there are many different types of trusts, and for many reasons. 10 common trusts that individuals use are revocable living trust, trust for minors, Medicaid trust, special trust, spousal trust, irrevocable life insurance, charitable asset protection, and the crummy trust. And this is from 2020. So we got to be careful with this one here, because it may already they may be taking that off. All right. Let's see. Somebody says, "Wow, Tam, dang, yep. Oh hell no, time to call the hitman." Uh, I think I would have to go to jail, and I'm just gonna be honest. Listening and seeing this person. I met the mom and sitting there, talking to the mom and stuff. You could see she was distraught, like my whole life. Like, my mom and dad gave me that, and I trusted you, and we've been together for 38 years, and you said you love me, and I said I love you, and here we are, and now you don't want to be with me no more, and now you're gonna take, not only are you divorcing me, but you're gonna take my money, you're gonna take my land, and you're gonna give it to the next chick. And then y'all be wondering why people go on Snap. Hey, Mark, you say it happened to men all the time, but again, don't make it right. Don't make it right. That don't make it right. No. My thing about it, here's my thing about it, and this how I'm gonna always feel about it. Put shit in place so that somebody entering into your life is not ciphering off X, Y, and Z. Whatever that looks like. If you feel like that person need to know everything, that's fine. And she felt that same way too, right? I think money changes people after you get to a certain amount of money. Um, I'll be quiet. I don't know about a hitman, Linda, but somebody ain't gonna be walking the same. You know how men be like when they meet a woman, and then y'all do y'all thing, and he be like, "She walking funny now." Remember me used to say that back in the day. He walking funny now. I just saying, my thoughts there. Did you say kneecaps? Will we go? All right, let's get into this. Let's see. Oh yeah, I got some time. All right, so let's get into these trusts. And then I'm gonna look up this other little thing that I want to show you about Black people and life insurance. And then we're gonna run here. I'm not gonna do the full 17 minutes, but let's get it. Let's get into my guy.
Of trust. All right, so here's the background. There's a lot of different types of trust. And maybe before we get into the 10 different types of trust, we might need to just answer, what is a trust? So I'll give you kind of the technical definition, and you'll get a much better understanding as we go into some of the practical reasons people form some of these 10 trusts as we go through the 10 types of trust. But if we were to look at the technical definition of a trust, it's often defined as what's called a relationship, where one person transfers assets or property to a person so that that person can manage it on behalf of another person or other people. So you'll understand a lot more as we go through it. And I'm going to define or give a name to each of these different types of trusts. But note that in most cases, it's not an official name. For example, I could say, one type of trust, Joe attorney down the road set up a children's divorce proof trust. And Anna down the street set up a children's inheritance trust. And all the provisions of those trusts are identical. So my point is, don't necessarily get hung up on the name, but and I'll point out a circumstance or two where there is a kind of a recognized name for a certain type of trust. Also, you need to know that there's some overlap here. I'm going to go over 10 different types of trusts, but all trusts are either revocable trusts or irrevocable trusts. And all trusts are either living trusts or testamentary trusts. So if I'm going to tell you 10 different kinds of trusts, there's going to be some overlap on revocable, irrevocable, living, testamentary. We'll get.
All right, we went over living testamentary, right? We just went over that. That's why I wanted you to have these definitions before we got started, because I knew he got deep kind of quick. I don't want to say deep, but he mentioned things quickly that if you hadn't heard it prior to this, you'd be like, what in the world is he talking about, right? So again, make sure that you are taking notes and, doing things to protect yourself, your spouse, your family, and your kids, right? Everybody don't love your kids the way you love your kids, and everybody don't love you the way you love you, right? Just bottom line, right? Some people love hard, some people love you more, right? We've seen a lot of deletions happening this week where people are going up. The one that got killed, the lady that got killed while she was at work at Amazon, the one that got killed. I sent D one this morning. Let me see. I give you the title here. Father deletes his own wife in front of 300 friends and family. Right. Um, and going to court, and of course, he pleaded not guilty. All right. So this story, let me. Oh, I can't pull it over. Let me escape here. Um, Let me escape that, and I'll pull this over so you can see the title. We'll cover it one day, but this one right here, April 19th, this came out. Um, where we're right here. So again, when we're talking about, this is this man's dad, right? And you know, basically he stabbed her at a party in front of friends and family repeatedly. Um, and basically, I guess people stood by and watched, right? So I'll be quiet. Let's get back to it.
Into it as we go through the 10. Okay, so let's get started. Really in no particular order, but the first one is the one that we see a lot of. It's that revocable living trust. The idea there is if you leave assets like your home, your real estate investments that you have, maybe privately held business interests that you own. If you pass away with those assets in your name, those assets will be frozen and your survivors will have to hire attorneys to guide the family through this court and attorney involved probate process, because that's just the way it is. When you die with something like that in your name, it's frozen, and judges and court proceedings are necessary to get the appropriate court orders to order third parties to transfer those frozen assets to the names of the heirs or beneficiaries. So many people, in an attempt to avoid their survivors from having to go through that court and attorney involved probate process, they set up what's called their revocable living trust. The idea is set up your living trust, which really replaces your will. You put all of those terms that would be in your will, you put them in your trust. You designate a trustee to handle your trust when you die. Kind of the secret sauce is things in a trust don't have to go through any kind of court and attorney involved probate process when you pass away. So that trustee that you name of your trust when you die can immediately disperse the assets to the trust beneficiaries without all of the court and attorney involvement. That's number one, is the revocable living trust. Trust number two is what I'll call a trust for minors. Many parents with minor children, many grandchildren, they want to leave assets to minors. You know, the 30-year-old mama and daddy, they got two kids who are 8 and 5. And so oftentimes in the parents' wills, they will establish a testamentary trust. More on testamentary trust as number 5. But they'll say in their wills, if we pass away, we want our assets to go to our children, but we want them to go in a trust for our children. And the reason they do that is because they don't want the judge's office at the courthouse to have to monitor all those assets that minors inherit. They want to designate perhaps a family member or some type of trustee to oversee the minor's assets until they're older, not just until they're 18, but perhaps until they're 25, or perhaps they'll designate the trust term is the children, after the parents pass away, the children can receive the assets in stages, maybe a third at 25, a half of what's left at 30, the rest at 35. Or maybe the parents will say the term of that trust, we're going to leave that to the trustee's discretion.
Right there. So we're going to leave that to the trustee's discretion. That part right there. That's the part right there that you got to say, okay, can I really trust this person? And then go from there. I just want you to have that in mind, right? I'm not going to finish the whole video. I'll get this to D, and D can drop it in the chat for you all, and you all can watch it. I just want to put some thoughts on your brain this morning. Have you thinking about some stuff, what people are doing out here in these streets, in these tech streets, and go from there, right? But it's 10 different types of trust. So, figure out which one works for you. And it don't have to be one that works for you. It could be multiple, right? It could be multiple. All right. So here is another article that I had found that I thought was interesting. More than $7 billion of unclaimed property going back into the hands of taxpayers. How to see if you qualify. This came out March the 9th. Right? Now the state wants to reunite properties to rightful owners. Texas Comptroller Glenn Hager yesterday announced that his administration had returned $2 billion in unclaimed property returns as of last month. This includes more than 2 million individual payments. The unclaimed property program started in Texas in 1962. Since then, more than $3 billion has been returned to its rightful owners, but the state says it's still holding more than $7 billion, right? It's mainly cash and valuables which are not accounted for by its owners. Mr. Hager stated in his statement, "I'm proud of the commitment this office has made to reuniting unclaimed property to its rightful owners." And you can go here to claimtexas.org. I'm sure Georgia probably has someone or whatnot, right? So just something to think about, right? Something to think about, right? All right, so another one that I wanted to bring up, let me see which one I want to bring over. All right, this one. So when you're doing your wealth management planning and talking about wealth accumulation, they're saying that Social Security can pay full benefits up until 2035 before the trust funds are depleted. So if you're gonna include that $2,000 to $5,000 that you thought you was, they're thinking that 2035 is gonna be depleted. And again, like I said, the Social Security is a trust fund, and you're paying into the trust fund right now, but you're not paying into the trust fund for you. You're paying it in for the next generation. But they're saying it's supposed to be depleted by 2035, right? Uh, so what's that? In see, we're in 2022, so in 13 years, who's retiring in 13 years? See, could I make it? Barely, barely. All the money I put into it, I don't get nothing. All right, another part of my messy morning. Thought this would be a good one to talk about. I lived in motels and forgot to live. I'm 48. I have almost $900,000 and want to retire next year. What can I do? Person is 48. They got 900,000 and they want to know what they can do. Write some of your thoughts down what they can do. Write some of your thoughts in the chat on what can that person do. And is that 900,000 enough for that person to retire on? We're talking inflation now. Can they retire on this? Is this enough to kick back and relax? Let me know. What's your thoughts? Can you do it on? Can you retire right now with $1 million? Mm. The chat says nothing. You can make it work. Okay, let's see. Let's go into the conversation. So the convo goes. I'm 48, single, and I lived in various states and done diverse jobs. Genetically, I foresee my lifespan being around 20 years. So they're saying they're gonna live another 20 years. As I lost my parents at a young age, in this 15-year career, I've never owned a car or home. I've only lived in sharing places and motels. In a year, I'm planning to retire and focus more on spirituality and health. I have a CD with around about 150,000 locked for 5 years at 3.3%, uh, and two CDs with 248 each for a month. In a 401k, I have around 160 and other savings around 40,000 in a cash balance pension, which I can take anytime. 160 a month for my lifetime, or a lump sum of 40,000 rolling around in an IRA. I see life is short, and I forgot to live myself, and want to make sure the rest of my retirement or rest of my life on this planet is enjoyable. I'm not a high risk investor. I expect Social Security at 62, which will bring in 2,000 a month, which is the best plan. What is the best plan for the next 13 years? All right, what you all say? That money needs to grow. Yeah. Can I reinvest into dividend stocks? You could. It's your money. Go to Cambodia and start a rice farm. I guess. The person could get a financial advisor. The concept of retirement is different for everyone. Yep. All right, congratulations. You have so much in savings, especially considering you've moved from place to place. That's great. You're certainly not alone, and wishing you enjoyed life more than when you were younger. Many people like you try to strike some sort of balance between living in the moment and paying for necessities now and in the future. Unfortunately, that means you will have to take into account just how long your money can stretch, and if it may be worthwhile to keep earning an income in some capacity. First, you need to think about what your annual income needs are. What are your annual income needs? You don't have any property, you don't own a home or anything, so where is he going to live? That's the first thing, right? Where is he going to live, and how much is that going to take away from his overall goal? So should he get a condo somewhere in a cheap area for 90,000? Should he go buy something like what is that? What does that look like, right? Also ask yourself, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. All right, it says plus emergencies such as health crisis and unexpected move. Also ask yourself what your own plan is for the money. Are you trying to make it to until Social Security kicks in? Are you intending to see this money last your lifetime? You can expect to live another 20 years because of your parents' lifespan. But is there anything else that indicates you will live to around 68? Or is there at least a chance you'll live longer? There are very important questions you need to address to see if retiring next year really is a good idea. And that's what the person said. You're not wrong to want to enjoy life. So many Americans work so hard and enjoy every single day to meet the needs, blah, 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 blah. But if you're able to find something that doesn't feel like such a weight on your happiness and brings in income, you may want to consider remaining in the labor force just a bit longer. There's an added bonus if the job comes with benefits like health insurance, such as since you're not eligible for Medicare until 65. So he's got to include insurance in this. He's got to include anything that happens to him, right? Private health insurance can be quite expensive, and having no insurance is a financial and health risk. So, there are insurance annuities out there. That's also you can start putting the money aside for insurance. You can actually go look up how much it's going to cost you in insurance, and it is extremely expensive. I was looking into like, what does it cost to have a nursing home or a nurse? We're talking $51,000 a year. You're talking a job a year just for that, right? So running the numbers really helps put all this into perspective. In many cases, a hybrid retirement where clients scale back to a part-time employment situation to keep some income rolling in to support their lifestyle, right? I don't know what that looks like part-time in tech. So my thought process would be whatever skills you have now and you're in tech, I would start looking at some part-time work right now. See what companies have part-time work right now. And see if you can, work it right now too, right? Just to see if you even would like to do something like that as you get older and put away more money, right? For example, someone who loves to ski might want to try to find a job at a ski resort. Someone who prefers to be by the beach might move to a seaside town and find an agreeable gig there. A retirement may be a final goal, but you might find you're not happy just switching gears. He should figure out that what he likes and if he can make a living at it. Said David Haas, a certified financial planner. Maybe the goal it shouldn't be retirement, but maybe something that he loves making money at, or that he loves making money at, and live for his life. I suggest you create an online account with the Social Security Administration, which I told everybody here to go create an online account with the Social Security Administration to see if you're going to get any type of benefits in terms of disability. What's your benefits going to be like over time and so forth, right? Um, I mentioned to you, you mentioned that you expect 2,000 benefits every month at the beginning of 62, but it never hurts to double check. Talk about Social Security benefits there. Ultimately, playing down. You might want to consider working with a financial advisor. Do a financial checkup. You might want to get your health checked as well too. Find out maybe even do some history on your family, like if there's medical things happen at a certain age as you get older and so forth. Um, and they go on a little bit, but I just wanted to mention that. And last but not least, did I bring it over? No, I didn't. Right here. Here's what I wanted to really end on. Changing how Black Americans use life insurance can help shrink the racial gap. Black Americans are more likely to carry life insurance than the average American, but their coverage does little more than provide for funeral costs. Bring it up a little bit more. 56% of Black Americans have life insurance, according to the study at LIMR Life and Life Happens, compared to 50%, 52% of our Americans. But 40% remain uninsured with their benefits not enough to replace income. See, listen, you're not replacing income, right? You leaving, you getting buried. Like me and Dion say, you're like butterfly in the sky. I can fly twice as high. You know, you're going out like reading rainbow. You're going out, but you're not leaving nothing behind. You're not leaving no income behind. When grandma dies, when mom dies, dad dies, you're not leaving nothing behind so they could like go forward. Reading rainbow. I can be anything. Right. So you're not leaving nothing behind. You're not. You're leaving, as you all like to say in these YouTube streets. You're leaving around dust. That's my LeBron James when he comes out. You leaving dust. That's what you leaving. Dust. Right. But more coverage could help close the racial gap, experts say. But Black Americans are missing out because of the financial concerns, misunderstanding of how life insurance works, and mistrust of the industry at large. What I hear is my parents didn't help me, so I'm going to bury myself. Every generation starting over and over and over and over. It's like, it's like you're on the hamster wheel. You're like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Yeah, you start over every single daggone time, right? So it's a unlike other communities where they're giving legacy to the next generation, giving legacy to the next year. Wendy Edwards, a financial services professional with 30 years of experience representing New York Life and other insurers, told Yahoo Money, instead, we have financial loss and emotional loss, creating a recipe for disaster. It's simple math. The math has the math, right? The math ain't mathing, but you leaving dust. Right? All right. So just like insuring a car or home, life insurance protects an individual's income potential, providing their family with a financial legacy if something happens. Now we talked about different ways we can play these trust and life insurance out. Like we gotta be mindful of those things too. But what are you leaving behind? And who are you leaving behind for? And what do you want them to do with it, right? I always tell you leave instructions. The rule of thumb is to have 10 times your annual income. So if you make 40,000, you need to be leaving around 10 times the annual income. If you make 400,000, you need to be living 10 times that, which brings in another point. All right. So the other point is your health rating that you get with these life insurance policies as well too, right? So being healthy, of course, makes your life insurance health. You'll make sure life insurance not necessarily cheaper, but gives you a better rating for better insurance, and possibly so in some cases, some people don't even qualify. Some people don't even qualify, right? So the rule of thumb is 10 times the amount to cover expenses beyond funeral, life, housing, mortgage, child care, health care, and education, right? Even if you make 40,000 a year and work at least 35 years, your human capital is 1.4 million. But many Black Americans aren't accounting that way. aren't accounting that way and therefore pass along smaller windfalls to their heirs. And on this chart right here, I gotta go because I gotta do a show at 10 o'clock on somebody else's channel. So I'm gonna speed through this real quick. Black Americans, it says families of color have far less wealth compared to white families. Here they go. But they're leaving off Asian families. Asian families have surpassed white families. Asian families are like a 191 to 193. So we need to move them over because Asian families have surpassed them. Only 10% of black families receive wealth transfer. So this whole boomer situation with the wealth transfer, only 10% of you all are gonna get something. So you better go start talking to your parents now. I'm doing the same with mine to talk about, hey, you need an estate, hey, you need to do this, and we need to make sure this is protected. That money that's sitting in the bank can't nobody get access to. There are things that you could do to protect that. I'll bring that up on another show. I don't have time today, but it is what it is. I'll bring that up. I may bring it up on section. I doubt it though. 40% of the white families, the median transfer for black families who get inheritance is 52,000 or 60% less than that of white families. If any is anybody educating our people on human capital, it's worth millions. It's simple math. I would say if you make 100,000 a year and work for 35 years, your human capital is 3.5 million. You pay life insurance premium and automatically create an estate for that amount. Jesus Christ, did y'all hear that? Good gosh, whatever that amount is. But I'm getting calls about burial insurance. Okay, so when you single, hey, you single man, single woman, get some life insurance and create an estate. By the time you meet me, if that's not done, I'm looking at you sideways. I'm just saying. All right, I gotta go. I got a show to run to. I didn't finish this. There's more to it than this. Boom, you see this article is long. We'll finish it off. I'll catch y'all next week. All right, now.